Hello everyone. Today I'm going to talk about Finger Lakes Secondary School and their evidence-based practices. Finger Lakes Secondary School is an outpatient mental health program operated by Elmira Psychiatric Center and BOCES. This program works cooperatively together at sites in Rushville, in Shortsville, and Mid-Lakes. The day treatment provides intensive therapy in special education setting for children with severe mental health and behavior problems. We work closely with parents and caretakers and issues related to the children's functioning at home, in school, and in the community. In addition, our program provides psychiatric evaluations, including medication therapy when indicated. A primary goal of day treatment is to help children, teens, and adolescents develop skills needed to function successfully in the least restrictive educational setting possible and remain with their families and caretakers in their current community. Some theoretical models that Finger Lakes Secondary uses are crisis intervention, CBT, DBT, solution-focused, system theory, and schema-focused therapy. So I know a lot of us know systems theory, solution-focused, DBT, CBT, and crisis intervention, but some of us might not know what schema-focused theory is. It's psychotherapy that involves changing unhealthy and self-defeating behaviors. It's kind of reframing our thoughts. So if we say something negative about ourselves, we're going to reframe that into something positive. Some interventions are used by the clinicians and the BOCES staff. The clinicians use DBT, which is talk therapy. We also use DBT diary documentation. So this documentation asks the children daily in therapy about their mindfulness, interpersonal effectiveness, emotional regulation, and distress tolerance. BOCES staff uses something a little bit different, even though we do work together hand in hand. They use daily behavior notes. These notes are also handed to the clinician staff at the end of the day so we can document their behavior. These are used on a point system. They are out of 80 points, and we would like the students to get 80% of those points earned throughout the day. They are allowed to earn quality points for going above and beyond during the day. The points that are earned during the day can accumulate and they can have a preferred activity at the end of the day. So we use evidence-based practice, and our evidence-based practice is modeled after Carl Rogers. So Carl Rogers believed that for a person to grow, they need an environment that provides them with a genuineness, openness, and self-disclosure. So this allows our clients to have a relationship with us so that they can self-disclose. And as clinicians, we accept them by being seen with unconditional positive regard. And we use this to try to accentuate the positives of their day. And then the empathy by being listened to and understood. During our therapy sessions, we definitely use evidence-based models to listen to our clients. Also, the BOCES staff also uses evidence-based models to show empathy and so that the students feel that they are understood and listened to. When they're understood and listened to, their mental health and their psychological health, which is one and the same, can thrive in an environment. So the target that we're going to talk about today is evaluating for psychiatric symptoms. So we have our literature. So the literature I'm going to talk about today is different evaluations we use to see what kind of psychiatric symptoms our students are exhibiting. So the Schwartz outcome scale is used every 3 months, every 90 days. And this is a system and an evaluation that teens can use themselves. We hand it to them and they kind of read it over. They answer the questions on a rating scale of 0 to 6. And then as clinicians, we go over the rating scale and try to evaluate them from there. The second one that I researched was the brief psychiatric rating scale. So this is a little bit more intensive than the Schwartz outcome. The Schwartz is only 2 pages, whereas the brief psychiatric rating scale is longer, it's more intensive, and it's made more for adults. So the Schwartz is something that can kind of be built on, right? So we can have the teens fill out the rating scale and then we can ask additional questions. Whereas the brief psychiatric rating scale that I researched, it all is in one. So it answers all of the questions without follow-up questions so that you have your results at the end of the evaluation. So the construct validity, both of these measure life satisfaction, interpersonal effectiveness, positive self-appeals, optimism, and absence of psychiatric symptoms. The face validity, Schwartz is a quick survey. It only takes a few minutes, whereas the brief psychiatric rating system has more details and is more towards adults. That criterion validity, the Schwartz may have more questions to clarify, and the brief psychiatric rating scale is a complete assessment, like I said, and doesn't really need to be clarified afterwards. It's pretty intensive and asks quite a bit of questions of severe, moderate, and mild. And then it also asks for detail during the evaluation, not afterwards like the Schwartz outcome. So some recommendations I have for this program is it grounded in connecting theory, practice, and evaluations? I would say most definitely. So the theory that they use most often is systems theory, and it observes human behavior. The practice is they integrate multiple evidence-based practices like DBT. In the evaluation, so there's quite a bit of evaluation that we use. We use 2 that are every 90 days, and those are the Suicide Safe Care Protocol outpatient assessment and the Schwartz outcome assessment that I talked about earlier. We also use evaluations yearly. So those are the PTSD Reaction Index for Children and Adolescents, the DSM-5 Part 2. And then the yearly, again, we use the Vanderbilt ADHD Diagnostic Teacher Rating Scale. So those are the evaluations that we use on a regular basis. We also use the DBT diary. That kind of additionally helps us make a treatment plan and make sure that we're meeting the goals for the children that are set within that treatment plan. So what are my recommendations? So I don't really have any more recommendations for this program. Some of the evaluations that I gave, so I've given already the Schwartz outcome scale. I guess the only recommendation I would give is a more detailed evaluation. I do, though, because the teenager can fill out the evaluation themselves, which is empowering to them because they can reflect on how they feel. Some of those questions are, I have confidence in my ability to sustain important relationships. I feel helpful about my future. I am often interested and excited about things in my life. So when they feel empowered to fill out an evaluation themselves, it's not just us asking questions to them. I do ask follow-up questions. If they score a 4 or below, I might say, hey, to get to a 6, what do you think that would look like? So for me, this evaluation does the job. It helps me engage with the student, but I also think that there could be something a little more detailed so that some of those follow-up questions didn't need to be had. So these are some of the resources that I used trying to figure out some of the evidence-based practices and what they mean to our program. Thank you for watching.